So right off the bat, you see RAD is instantly working. My muscles have this weird, hard, dense look going on that, in my opinion, it really isn't achievable natural unless you are insane muscle maturity, training for like 6-7 years at least, right? I had all this 19 getting into it. What's up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at Russo Lifts, just in case something happens to this YouTube channel. You can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What is up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's ASMR sip is sponsored by 1907. Still working on the coupon code. We will get a coupon code so everyone gets this water at a good price that's shipped to your door. Give me a little bit of time, a lot on my plate. Here's the sip. All right, guys, by popular demand, I'm going to be reacting to my RAD-140 only cycle experiment. I believe I was around 19 or 20 years old when this experiment happened. If you guys could please like this video so more people see my censored content, and subscribe, hit the bell, that'd be great, because yeah, likes mean a lot for me. Sincerely, here I am begging like a bitch. Anyways, today I'm going to be going into the cycle video. A little bit of caveat, right? This cycle is only 6 or 7 weeks. I'm obviously going to watch the video along with you. I'm going to weigh in my opinion at 25 years old on my 19-year-old video, and then I'm going to go into what I noted during this cycle that's very important for anyone running RAD-140 only. The cool thing about this video is that I documented this before I touched any steroids at all. This was SARMs only. This was how just adding in RAD-140 solo, nothing else, impacted my results, my body, etc., etc. And I'll go into the reasons that this cycle quote unquote failed in certain ways and what I noted. So let's get into it.
Instead of playing around with LGD, I wanted to play around with RAD-140 next because no one really decided to give it a shot. So this is how I looked in a very edited.
So I'll have Andrew throw up the reaction to LGD 4033, where it's my older self reacting to my younger self taking LGD 4033 only for the first time.
Pick of me and PCT, but I definitely lost the fullness and the LGD look, the nitrogen retention look, but I kept a lot of the muscle I gained during my 4 weeks only. Again, only a month. You can only do so much in a month. So I decided to utilize RAD-140 again. No one really knew what RAD did. So this is some pictures of
but we're gonna speed it up for everyone, so we're at 1.5 times speed.
Me with my lab rat on RAD-140. A couple things to say is that it's a hardener and it's more for strength. So when you watch the transformation video, notice my working sets when it comes to the strength gains. I gained the most amount of strength ever with this SARMs only cycle. I did not use any testosterone base whatsoever. Completely honest, this was just RAD-140. And I really didn't get the nitrogen retention look that I did with LGD 4033, but the strength gains were obnoxious as well as the aggression. My dosage for my lab rat was around 30 to 40 milligrams per day, and I'm going to be uploading all my side effects and stuff in the video I had posted as well back then. But I just want to give some insight that although I quote unquote look natty.
Yeah, so RAD-140 only, right? You're going to have a sucked in, dense, hard, tight muscle look that's half natty, right? You're gonna have a half natty look. You are not gonna be bubbly and popping with nitrogen retention. RAD-140 doesn't do that. It doesn't increase nitrogen retention, right? So you would need testosterone with that. If you wanted to pop and fill out, RAD-140 sucks you in. Hardener, strength gains, can, you know, utilize this if you're trying to make a weight class for mixed martial arts or powerlifting, whatever it may be. That's how RAD-140 slots in. So don't expect me to rapidly explode. Expect the specific look that RAD-140 yields.
Natty. The strength gains were not natty whatsoever that I had, and you can see that in the transformation video. And you can only do so much in 6 weeks, and this was really when I figured out what RAD did personally for me, and that was a muscle hardener, very well for gaining strength, whereas LGD was more for gaining that look. So this was the man. Now you can only do so much in an amount of time, and these little SARMs only cycles, I was literally experimenting with the side effects and what they did, and I choose results. So please.
All right, so here we go. Let's get into it. So starting weight around 188 pounds, just under 190. So currently talking to you, I'm like 230 with abs in the morning. So this is how I was back when. So note at the start of this cycle, I remember this entire cycle completely, and I have the full video logs, which Andrew can link above on the channel already, but I was struggling doing 225 for a 5x5 coming off my cut, going into a caloric surplus. Obviously, because I'm a hard gainer, I need tissue. There's no fucking point of me being cut up. I want to use all my younger years to accumulate tissue, so once I become a man, aka right now, I'm gonna enter a contest with the most amount of tissue and then, you know, reverse out, right? So I spent my whole boyhood building size after the initial Austrian cut. So right off the bat, you see RAD is instantly working. My muscles have this weird, hard, dense look going on that, in my opinion, really isn't achievable natural unless you are insane muscle maturity, training for like 6-7 years at least, right? I had all this 19 getting into it. So from the initial posing footage, you can obviously see the muscle density and hardness increase. I'll try and pull up the initial posing footage in the same room. Again, muscles are popping, much denser in this footage here. Delts have rounded out. So, like I said, at the beginning of the cycle, I was struggling coming out of a cut after LGD back to natty with a 5x5 of 225. I think a week or two of RAD-140, you see me banging 225 like it's nothing, right? So visually, you can see my muscles got denser and harder. I'm popping slightly, but I don't got like a bubbly nitrogen retention look that you would get with traditional steroids. I'm sucked in, dense and hard, but you can see the strength gains by far not natural. I mean, I'm repping 225 like it's water and pausing it at the end and shit. When I was like struggling with 225. I just doubled my 1 rep max. I did that for an easy double. Easily banging 4 plates on deadlift when you saw me struggling with doubles. This is the footage I really wanted to touch on, and the point I wanted to make in the failure of this cycle is that RAD-140 crashed my natural testosterone. By around week 4.5, week 5, I definitely felt the estrogen crash. This is why I'll have Andrew throw up the test basis video where I go into why you need some sort of form of exogenous estrogen conversion to run with these more powerful SARMs, aka LGD, aka S23, and RAD-140, RAD-150. They're gonna shut down your natural testosterone production, which is fine, right? The SARM is replacing the overall androgen level in your body. That's cool. What's not cool is that a SARM does not convert to estrogen or dihydrotestosterone DHT. So without estrogen, you're not gonna gain any tissue, your libido is going to go to shit, you're going to have brain fog, you're going to have higher neurotoxicity, and overall you want estrogen in there to build muscle, and you want estrogen in there for good libido. So estrogen is a key critical component to actually gain muscle out of these cycles. You can see why I called it at week 6, week 7, because I look crazy separated, I look crazy dense, you can see way more striations, but there's virtually no estrogen in my body, so I'm going to look the best, but I am no longer making progress. I am actually just gonna idle at this size, because if I have no estrogen in my body, I'm not gonna put on any more tissue. So that is the big caveat and lesson learned from this cycle that, you know, no one did back then. No one was documenting shit in video format like I was back in the day, and it's just like, I was the only one video documenting this type of shit back in the day, right? Everyone else was in the forums, you didn't know what they looked like, and you can see visually my progress change. You can see visually, right? I did a double of my 1 rep max easily, banging 225 like it's water when I was struggling at the start of the cycle. The strength gains, the density, the powerlifting type effect. Obviously I was doing a lot of strength-based training, building my strength base back at this time. I'm more into, you know, hypertrophy bodybuilding style nowadays, actually like volumizing my tissue and things, but back then I was focused on my powerlifting base so I could do hypertrophy numbers later with heavier weights. You can see I accomplished all that. You can also see that I learned that I needed something in there for estrogen conversion if I wanted to continue RAD-140 for 10 weeks. So that's why I called it around week 6. You can see RAD-140 increased my basal metabolic rate. My metabolism was through the roof. I started at what, 187, 188. We're at 200, and you can see my abs. All that weight gained was lean, and there's no estrogen in my body, so the separation and everything's gonna look way better in the after than the before, despite the weight gain. But you will see that I still have the half natty look. I definitely still look natty per se, because there's no nitrogen retention going on, and I'm getting sucked in. I'm flat from my metabolism being so cranked from the RAD-140. I'm not even keeping up eating in this cycle. This is when I had to learn that you had to keep up with eating with the androgens to get the most out of it. I wasn't eating nearly enough despite gaining, you know, 10, 13 pounds so easily. So you can see the feathering in my shoulders. You can see that my shoulders are popping viciously, but you can see that I'm just sucked in and dense. This is the look that RAD-140 is gonna yield. All right, this is the final after. I remember for the final after, I carved up like a motherfucker to get the final after shots. So here's RAD-140. I believe the dosing was around 20 to 40 a day I experimented with. My blood pressure was suffering at 40 milligrams a day, and I was having hair shedding towards the upper echelon dosages. So you can see veins, striations in my shoulder, virtually no water, insane separation in the muscle. Estrogen is completely crashed. Face got leaner during the cycle despite gaining all this weight. And I also have no idea how to pose. Still don't. Alright, so that wraps up my reaction. Overall, RAD-140 still to this day is one of the most popular SARMs in the world, heavily utilized in the powerlifting field in my opinion, for obvious reasons like I stated, right? I was eating like crazy to try and make this weight gain happen, and in my opinion I wasn't eating enough. And in the S23 cycles I did years later, I actually ate to keep up with the androgen, right? When you add in an androgen like this, your basal metabolic rate is going to go through the roof, so you don't have the allocated money to spend on eating food to keep up with it. You are leaving gains on the table and hurting your health, right? You're not maximizing the risk you're taking. Learned that during this cycle. I also learned that I needed an estrogen base if I wanted to continue to make gains. My estrogen was crashed. In this video at the end, the reason why I'm so separated, my muscles look so good despite gaining all this weight, is because RAD-140 has completely saturated my system, densified my muscles, and RAD-140 is not converting to estrogen at all. Thus, my nuts are shut off. I have no estrogen going on. My libido was fucked during the end of this, and that's why I called it, and went into a PCT and brought all my hormones back with clomiphene. So I had to learn that. What I didn't learn, and I've learned years later, and everyone learned years later in the SARMs department, was that the half-life online during this time was, you know, quoted 24 hours, right? So I was dosing daily. I'll have Andrew throw up the video where I believe I discussed this. If not, I will make a new topic video, that the RAD-140 half-life is over 24 hours. So I had a way higher serum concentration of RAD-140 than someone, in my opinion, would ever want. The insomnia side effects, the blood pressure side effects of dosing 40 milligrams a day was detrimental to my health and not an efficacious dose. The point of no return, in my opinion, is 20 to 30 a day. I pushed to 40, 50 to see if I could make a better look for the results on the final results. Didn't work out, right? And I was under the inclination that it was half-lifing out with a daily half-life. I believe in reality RAD-140 might last 72 plus hours in the body, meaning I was stacking it rapidly by dosing that amount daily. That is what I learned from this experiment. I hope you guys learned something in this video, and if you did, please recommend this channel, subscribe with the bell on, and click the like. I will see you guys in my next video.